Welcome, beautiful people. How you doing? Hey, so I was just talking with a friend, and I gave some really good advice on this subject, and it changed everything for that person. It was amazing because it was just all about looking at things from a different perspective and just shifting whatever they were thinking and looking at it from a different side, right? Because we've all heard that saying where, you walk into a room, full of lemons, and they got that one person who's like, oh man, there's all these lemons, what am I gonna do? It's a mess, I gotta clean all this up, and it threw off their whole day, and now they're pissed because they got lemons everywhere, right? But then there's that other person, the one who's thinking differently and is an entrepreneur, whatever you want to call it, right? And then they come into the room and they see a room full of lemons, and they're like, hey, you know what, I can make some money off of this, I can make lemonade. So everything is always about perspective, and that could be with anything. And what's nice and exciting is that, like, you could be having a horrible day. Say you're driving down the freeway and all of a sudden, you're late for work because you got a flat tire, right? So you could be upset, and it could be a domino effect where it's like, now all of a sudden, you're trying to get out the car and your shirts get stuck into the car as you're opening the door, and you're changing tire and you're mad, and now there's oil all over your clothes and you can't get home, right? So it's just all these bad things are occurring, right? Or you could just kind of stop and be like, maybe there was a car accident that you find out later that actually was a 7 car pileup, and you would have been involved in that if you wouldn't have gotten that flat tire. Or maybe you're an entrepreneur, and the tow truck guy who's coming, or a person comes and actually is towing you, and come to find out they needed whatever you're offering in your sales position or in your entrepreneur endeavors, and now you've got a client, right? But none of those things would occur and happen if we look at things and get upset at things right away, right? And the same thing in relationships. You can have a situation where there's a misunderstanding of what that person is trying to tell you. But if you kind of just make the assumption of what it actually means versus actually clearly listening, maybe asking more empowering, different questions to really get to the core and the bottom of things, you might find a whole different perspective, just because of the fact that you took that time and not just reacted in such a way that leads to anger, right, and stress. And this is something that why I'm not a big fan of text, right? Text is just really meant for, hey, are you coming to dinner tonight? Yes. Okay. See you at 5 o'clock. Short, very quick conversations. But when you're trying to sit there and have a dialogue and talk about your emotions and bring in all these tones and different things, people aren't understanding what you're trying to say and what tone you're trying to say it. And so it can get all kind of confused and messed up, especially when you give those long drawn out paragraphs. I don't know if you guys know somebody like that, or if you've done it in the past. If it is, definitely you want to not do those things, because it doesn't help. And we need to be more doing the face to face, societal things, because it just gives us more of an opportunity for us to have clear communication, where we don't have to rely so much on, even though it is convenient for texting and social media, trying to get quick ways out of things. So one of the benefits of looking at challenges from a different perspective is that you improve problem solving. Okay, and this is it's creative way of thinking. So that way, by asking more questions, by just seeing things in a different way, you can maintain your mood more consistently and more evenly. So for me, it's always kind of like, how can I maintain this positivity? Because the more you put out there, the more you're getting back, right? So there might be those days when it's just like, I'm not having a good day, and that's okay, right? Because little techniques that you can always use is just, hey, what am I thankful for? Right. And then those gratitude shifts just automatically just move you into a place where you're just, at least okay with things. It doesn't have to be big shifts, but at least you're looking at things from a different perspective, and it's not just defaulting to negative, right? Because when we do default to negative, or when we default to things like, oh, I got this bill to pay, I don't have money for this, and it's just this domino, the universe is just going to give us more reasons to feel that way, and so by making these little shifts, working it out, like one of my big sayings that I love to say is that, like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't know where it's going to come from, what's going to happen. I just know that it is, right? And just by me saying that keeps the door open to possibilities. And that's really what we want when we're trying to work on shifting our perspective, because there's always the good in something if you really want to look for it, right? And see it. And I mean, yeah, I'm not trying to say, oh, be this, person wearing rose colored glasses and not really look at, things if you're sad or disappointed, but give yourself limited time, right? Make it where, okay, I'm going to feel this way, but I'm only going to feel this way for an hour. Some people do it a day. I'm trying to challenge you, definitely, make it as less as you can. Like for me, sometimes I can shift right now in like a minute, just because I've been practicing this for so long. And then all of a sudden everything kind of works itself out. And this is really good, like I said, in relationships, especially if you're in one, because that anger, you don't have to necessarily go to sleep with it, right? Because that's the worst thing in the world, is when you are upset with somebody, and you could shift that energy really quick so that you can at least open up, have that open communication to try to open things up, to try to work through. Now, of course, your partner has to also do the same thing. So this does take, again, a lot of communication, but these are skills that can be developed over time, with your partner, just in life, where you will start to see shifts and negative negative quote unquote things happening to you. They just start to go away because you're not looking at it, right? You're not seeing it from that perspective. You're actually seeing this now as, wow, this is actually a good thing. Things are working out for me, and you're just focusing on what is working, right? And that there's a video that I have a whole video talking about how, how things, are working out for you. And I suggest just watching that video if you want to understand, focusing on what is working only. So that was pretty much what I wanted to kind of cover in this, kind of looking at things, like I said, from a different perspective. Um, Also having empathy for uh, for the other person, for your partner's perspective, and because this will help reduce conflicts. And it's also going to build those stronger connections, so that there is this more place of kind of understanding and just looking at things, because there's always two sides to the story, right? We hear these things, but like, it really is truly, when you practice it and understand it, it can make all the difference in the world. And so that was pretty much what I wanted to talk about for you guys today. Like and comment below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Because I'm pushing daily content like this. Let me know if you guys like the new lighting, because it's something new that I was, trying out today. And if there is anything that you want to have topics that I want to talk about, or anything else you want me to cover in this topic, please let me know. And until next time, you guys make it a great day. Take care.